Hello Internet, welcome back to our tutorial series. In this episode we're going to get that engine changed out. I want to do this. I want to get this done and over with. So we should have all of our tools. Probably don't need this heater on behind me. It's like 70 degrees outside. Very cold in the house though for some reason. So yeah, do we have our tools? We have the hacksaw, the wrench, the hammer, screwdriver. I mean, I don't think we need the welder, do we? Welder? I don't think you would weld an engine. It would just be bolts, right? Oh, we probably left it up there. That's fine. Let's head up. Ooh, throat's bothering me, of course. Because why wouldn't it be? Can't record any time without having some throat problems. Let's, we can use auto move for this as well. Trying to force myself to use auto move more. Zombie child spotted. No. Yeah, okay. We're seeing a couple things. What, where? Oh, they broke into the house. They may have spotted us on the road, but that's okay. They're not really anything scary. Probably should have cleared out the rail station just because it's near our base, but I don't really care that much. So we were in the process. Items on the ground. Diesel engine alternator. This is the gasoline version. So let's just plop this in. We just ran out of daylight when we were doing this. So again, I usually install it wherever it was previously. Usually it's good to, a lot of people will put them in the rear of the vehicle because as you go forward in the game and you start ramming zombies with the front of your vehicle, you can damage your engine. I never bother with that just because it's not that big of a deal to constantly be repairing as you go. You'll see we have the option of installing the diesel or the regular V8. We're going to install the regular V8, of course. Again, taking the sports car engine is probably the smartest thing we could do. I just didn't really feel like repairing it. And it's not something I care that much about. Generally, I try to put electric engines in my vehicle. Now, this particular vehicle is actually a little too heavy for that. There are electric engines in the game, which will allow you to, I guess they're motors technically, they're not engines, which will allow you to run your vehicle purely on battery power rather than gasoline or diesel. This is very desirable because we can put a lot of solar panels on our vehicle and just get free fuel essentially. Problem is, heavier vehicles tend to be a little sluggish with the electric motors. 12,000 pounds is a little bit too much. Someone commented recently saying the I think the heavy. There are several different electric motors. I'm not sure which ones are which. If we look, I think it's huge. Is that what it's? We don't have any of them available. Motor. We don't have any of them available for installation. Why is that? I wonder. Maybe the tile is occupied. Engine. No. It would be motor. Here we go. Okay, so tiny and small are not going to do anything. There's also a regular one, a medium one. These are not really going to be enough to really move a vehicle at all this size. These are primarily for bikes, mostly. We would want a large or enhanced electric motor. I've never seen a super one before. Provides motive power. Mechanics 5. So that looks like that's the highest tier electric motor. I've never seen one of these before, which is interesting. I've never seen one of those before. It looks like, you know what? Now that I'm looking, these engines have power to them. The motors have power to them. So here we can see their power output, which would be the direct amount affecting the ability to move the vehicle. So you'll see they have power drain. The enhanced uses more power than the large electric motor, but it's more powerful. And then again, I've never seen super, but it appears to be like twice the power, but it has a huge power drain. Let's look at engines and see if they have a similar feature, because we talked about not being able to compare. They do have power listed. So, okay, so we talked in a previous episode about not really being able to tell the value of an engine. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for power. So you would pick an engine that has the greatest power for such a heavy vehicle. So 242,000. Let's look at the sports car engine. I can't look at it in engine form. We can't actually install. Yes, we can. We don't have the mechanics. But if we look at it, 447. So double the power of the engine that we're going to be installing. Very interesting. I did not know this little section exists. So that's how you would compare engines, just so now we know. That's very handy. I wish I had known that several episodes ago when we discussed it. But yeah, you'll see it has double the power. So this would be the optimal engine for such a large vehicle as the Humvee. But again, I really don't want to grind my mechanics to 6. And I don't want to mend the engine. You know what? I'm going to take the engine. No. Give me the crane. We talked about this previously as well. No, give me the crane. If we wield this, if we try to pick this up, you'll see it says it's like 700 pounds. But if we wield it and we go into our inventory, you'll see that weight is not currently encumbering us. That's because we have the crane with us. If we take a few steps away and we look again, nope, still not a burden. Oh, and there we went out of range and we were immediately knocked to the floor because of the weight. You'll see it now is affecting us. So that's how that works. I had messed that up. We're still on the ground. Go ahead and stand up. I had messed that up previously, saying that you could put it in your inventory. You actually have to wield the item to get the benefit of the lifting tool. But we're going to throw this engine in our trunk for later. Maybe as we get further in the game, we will take advantage of such a powerful engine. For now, we're just going to install the gas engine. So again, I'm going to put this where it was previously. Oh, we already did, didn't we? Yeah, we already installed it. We're going to install the truck alternator over top of that. The truck alternator, the alternators in the game go on top of the engine, so wherever your engine is installed, that's where you have to put your alternator. This will convert electric charge from when the engine is running. It will convert electric charge and fill our batteries. Very important to have an alternator if you're running a fuel type engine. If you're driving a very solar heavy vehicle, you can do without an alternator, but for the moment we're fuel dependent. We don't have any means of charging our batteries outside of the engine. So we really need the alternator. What I'm going to do as well is repair our engine, because a repaired engine will give more power to moving the vehicle. This requires a welder, so we'll quickly do this. And I'm curious, if we look at it, can we see... I really wish that pop-up would appear when we hover over the engine, but it doesn't seem to do that. It only seems to do that on install. If I remove it, does it show? It does not show it if I'm trying to remove it. So the only way to see that pop up is if you're trying to install the engine. I would really like that to show up in the description somewhere, so that you could view that without having to take the engine out of the vehicle. But it's still good to know that that's an easy way to compare vehicle stuff. So can we repair this tank when it has fuel in it? This one is completely destroyed. It would require a new tank to install. Where's the other one? Probably mirrored on the other side. Can we repair this? We don't have battery charge at the moment. We would need to refill our battery, which we should do anyway. Go ahead and drop, unload the welder, drop the thing here, drop the battery in the charger, and then go ahead and flick on the charger so that charges. What we're going to do is also unload our tank. We need a rubber hose for that, which I don't think I have in my inventory because I am dumb, and I think we've already salvaged all the fridges in this area. Let's just drive it back to base. Go ahead and take Fraser apart here, fold, grab the Fraser, throw it in the trunk so we have it available to us. We're not really done doing vehicle work. There's other stuff we would want to do. Oh, we can't even drive this because it doesn't have the right fuel anymore. So, yeah, let's drop the Fraser. Let's go hunt for a rubber hose, because we can't drive this until we have fuel in it. Already been destroyed. Yeah, we had hunted for electric hoses up here, or rubber hoses up here, so there may not be any available. But we'll take a look around. Where's the kitchen? Kitchen. Door is locked. Okay. This is a bathroom. What am I doing? Go to the kitchen. Where? I'm blind. Oh, it's right here. It's already been looted. Yeah, we've already looted a lot of the area here for rubber hoses, unfortunately. When we disassembled an engine, did it give us a rubber hose or anything? Here's a fridge. What am I doing? Wield the spear. Not really good for bashing. Go ahead and smash. Give me a plank. Wield the plank. Wield. Plank. Smash fridge. Come on now. There we go. Give Give me the rubber hose. Get our stamina back. Wield the spear again. Drop the plank. Okay. Let's get this diesel out of here. Now, obviously, if we wanted diesel, we would save this. But for the moment, I don't see any reason to do that. Pour onto the ground. Just dump out the diesel. Should be all of it out of the tank. Great, which means we can now fill the tank with gasoline. It's not a lot of fuel, but again, there's fuel in every vehicle, basically gasoline in almost every vehicle. So we could just find one with a tank on it and siphon. So here's one with fuel, siphon, pour in a container, gallon, siphon this as well. Come over here, fill the tank. 7.5 liters. Go ahead and grab the remainder out of this. This is a little tedious, but it's not something you have to do often. Siphon, yes. Pour into container, gallon jug. You can also refill refillable lighters with fuel as well. So here you'll see it gives us the option to put it in the refillable lighter. That's why it's refillable. That way we can infinitely refuel it with gasoline. I think you can put other things in it as well. Go ahead and fill the tank. And you'll see just in those 2 or 3 vehicles that we looted for gasoline, we have more gasoline now than we did diesel a moment ago. So this is now drivable again. This battery charge should be full. So let's go ahead and start the engine and then turn off the charger. What do we want to do with vehicles? What else can we do with this vehicle right now? We're going to do extensive vehicle work where we extend the vehicle and change these out for opaque tiles so that we can put a bed back here and have it as a mobile sleeping quarters. For the moment, I don't really want to do that. Vehicle work is very time consuming and we don't necessarily need to do that. What we could do is pull the trunks out and replace them with cargo spaces. That way they can hold a lot more material. Pull some of these seats out that we don't need. Put additional cargo spaces. I usually try to put a bed in it before anything else. That way I can take it on the road when I feel like it and have a place to sleep. You can sleep in seats. A lot of these are reclining seats. If we go to the sleep menu, vehicle control has moved. New binding is carrot. No, I know. I want... Oh, because we're still driving? Oops. No, don't drive. Don't drive. Didn't mean to do that. Stop driving. If we hit the sleep command, we do have the option of sleeping in this seat. Problem is, it's very bright outside, and zombies could see us through the vehicle. So we could put on a blindfold and sleep here. But if we're on an angle, 1, they can just attack me through the vehicle. And 2, if they see us, they can come smash up the vehicle before we would wake up, which we don't really want to do. I'd really like to do a little traveling and get eyes on like maybe what's over here. And over here, we could drive through this field and try to get eyes over here. We're kind of looking for a lab. I would really like to find a lab early on because a lab would let us talk about mutagen and bionics. Let's go on a road trip. Let's just drive around a little bit, see what we see. Problem is getting up here is going to be a little tricky because we're in the daylight, which means there will be a lot of zombie density around. We've mostly cleared this area though. We could probably safely get up here and try to head over. If we bumped into a forest or something, we'd have to divert though, because we obviously can't drive through a forest. Alternatively, we can head down here. We could check these. We'll do that. Let's go on a road trip. Internet. No, don't stop driving. Go ahead and turn this puppy around. Not the easiest thing to turn on a dime, but it is what it is. Yeah, let's just go on a little road trip here. We haven't really driven anywhere. We haven't seen the country at all. We've only seen what's in the area. Oh, we actually need to go up. So let's slow it down and turn you around again. My mistake. Really, the concern when you're... It's eating my inputs. Please don't crash. Yeah, the game ate several of my inputs. That's not great. I've been noticing more and more when I drive in Cataclysm, if you press the 5 key or the wait key to progress, a lot of times if you press it too quickly, it will buffer those inputs, and you will end up having a big jump forward suddenly of many tiles, which can be very problematic. I often end up crashing into things. So let's head over here. So we're going to head out into the country. So let's talk about the country in Cataclysm. We've talked about urban development, stuff in cities. We've seen a lot of the city at this point. You can see kind of how it generates. We talked about the various buildings and what their values are. The country is less rewarding from a loot perspective, but it also has benefits. Number one is that there's much less monster density in the rural areas. So like once we get out into the country, it will be mostly farms and fields and things. So here we're seeing a lot of forests. We're seeing a lot of empty tiles. This is great if we were coming out to hunt. A lot of times I will just drive down the road and I will spot various wildlife. Here we have a couple of rabbits, which are not ideal for meat, but, you know, it's eating my inputs again. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. Not ideal, but are fine. You'll see other things. Like I said, wolves are a good target for meat, and you will find them in the country a lot. Let's swing over this way and check this spoke first. And we're hoping to find a lab. That's the main thing we're looking for. The main draws of being in the country, especially for these spoke-like areas that kind of dead end out here, are laboratories, science labs. Oh, God. Okay, so we see a riot control platform. This is a robot. Let's jump over there and take a look at this. I've never seen this one before. Oh, it's just a turret. Okay, so there was a change in the game in the last, 3 months. Used to be you would find a lot of turrets out in the world. One of the main issues with traveling the roads in the country was that there were a lot of barricades, a lot of robots. This has been changed slightly. So these are the new turrets. These most turrets that you'll find at roadblocks now are going to be non-lethal turrets. So here we have a riot control platform. We're going to read this description here. Oh, it's so big. Talon-derived riot control platforms, widely publicized a few years ago. Less lethal rounds with far more accuracy than a human. Safer hits against the target's limbs. They were demonstrated that less lethal is not the same as non-lethal. Shoot autonomously requires a human operator to relocate because it's a turret. But yeah, so they were replaced with these non-lethal variants. Used to be they would fire bullets at you, which is really bad. I've never dealt with these before. Let's pull to a stop here. I've yet to see these turrets in action. Let's go ahead and stop driving. Let's close all of our stuff here. Here we have, this is a reinforced windshield. I think with the doors closed and everything, we should be able to drive through here safely. I'm going to save the game and absolutely save scum if we die, because it would be real dumb to die to something in our tutorial series. So this is a roadblock. Looks like everything here has been pretty destroyed. There are 2 turrets here. Both are non-lethal. And we're going to try to drive by them and just see what happens, because I've never seen them before. If we were Okay, so they've shot us. We were stunned. It hit me in the torso. So despite having closed doors between us and a reinforced windshield, it's still hitting us. And we are stunned. I'm not sure what stunned does. Your movement is randomized. That's interesting. So it doesn't seem to affect us while driving. We're not going to go that way. Or rather, we're going to give it a wide berth because we can just drive around it. Weight of the Humvee destroys the rock. Well, that's pretty interesting. If you're going to go off-road, the main thing to look out for are rocks. The boulders here, don't hit the boulders. They will damage your vehicle. Other than that, you have a little less traction, so sometimes you'll lose a little bit of control over your vehicle. Obviously, a stationary roadblock like that is easily circumvented in a situation like this. Oh, we see some deer, which would be prime hunting candidates, but we don't have any way to preserve their meat at the moment, so I don't really feel any reason to go murder some innocent animals when I'm not even going to eat them. Here we have a little bit of water. Deer sunfish. Why are you... It's a puddle over here that the fish is trapped in. Since it's trapped, we could just walk over there and kill it. But again, why kill it when we don't really need the meat? Doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do. There's a bus parked here. Yeah, so I would not recommend approaching those turrets, especially if you are on foot, because it will randomize your movement, which is obviously very bad. Seeing a survivor zombie. This looks like some tents. Okay, a wood saw. What is this? Map location. A survivor's camp, so likely filled with survivor zombies. Just 2 of them? I mean, that's a pretty pitiful camp. I wonder if you have any good stuff. So, what we're going to do here, which is something we haven't done yet, we're going to try to run these guys over so we don't have to fight them. Vehicles in Cataclysm are very, very powerful for this reason. Let's head south a ways and then turn around. Destroys the rock. Okay, we're going to crank up our speed here. And we're going to point at them and hopefully do some damage. Now, as we hit them, you'll see rams into survivor zombie, stuns it, rams into survivor zombie and stuns it. You'll see they didn't die immediately. They got kind of pushed around, which is more or less what you would expect from hitting a human-sized creature. Again, all we're looking to do here is avoid hitting any boulders. We don't care about hitting flowers and things like that. If you can keep them centered in the front of your vehicle, you are dealing damage to them as you're running them over. No? Were we not? You should be dead, my friend. Let's always slow down before you make a turn. That way you have a better turning radius. And you don't end up like we could have. If we were going 25 miles an hour, we may have run into that pool as we tried to turn, which would have been bad. Go ahead and hit this, and there we've killed the survivor zombie. Now, this is one reason. Oh, we're still wearing our headgear, which is dumb. Let's come to a stop here. Pop out of our vehicle, and we'll go investigate. Survivor zombie. Pocket watch is fine. Not really anything I want, so we'll pulp the corpse. We'll head up here to the other one. Why is this red indicator blinking as I move? Do you see that? I don't know why that's happening. It's always on that side. That's peculiar. Makeshift knife, not very good. Really wish they had better stuff on them. Let's check their camp. From the northwest and below, you hear kaboom. We are deafened because we heard, I believe, a landmine go off. Your eardrums suddenly ache, so we are deaf. And because it was an explosion, as we approached, you'll see we revealed these traps. This is based on your perception, whether or not you spot traps. Seems like there may be other traps there, including landmines, because we heard the explosion. Your body aches. And we're deaf. When you go deaf, there's no indicator of how long you will be deaf. The louder the explosion or triggering event, the longer you will be deaf. So if you're near a mini nuke, we've had people report that they will be deaf for several years. The only way to tell this is by debugging. Actually, I don't think you can even debug. You have to look in your save file. But we went deaf as a result of an explosion. So we want to give that a wide berth because it seems like they planted landmines. And landmines are real bad because they will instantly kill your character. We're seeing a beagle, northwest and below. So I was going to say, seems like there's a lab here. We saw a beagle. I'm hoping that's a dog, because the beagle is also the name of the tank drone that I thought was removed. I can't zoom in. You're a dog, right? You're obviously a dog. I don't know where you are, but you're in the forest. You got to be a dog. So here we found a lab, which is what we were looking for. Labs are very interesting locations. They have a lot of underground levels, which is why we're hearing kerblam to our... Oh, I thought something shot at me. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that after my editing, but there was a gunshot as well as a casing sound of a casing hitting the ground. So we're hearing a lot of things. This is always a good indicator that there is a lab nearby or some other large building. If you hear a lot of gunshots, which is what the kerblams are, and kabooms, most likely you're at a lab or something with maybe a military complex of some sort. They have a lot of underground buildings. We don't have the means to get in here. There are 2 ways to get into a lab. Either you go through the card reader, which requires a science ID card, which we've never found one. So there's no way for us to just get in. And if you enter that way, it will deactivate. There's a turret right like here. It will deactivate the turret. Now, if you don't have a lab ID card, you have to go through the wall. Now, these are double thick walls, so you'll have to go through 2 sets of walls. You can do this in a variety of ways. We could just plow our Humvee into it and knock the wall down. Really a bad idea to do that in general, just because it's not very good for your vehicle. You can, like, we could go back and let's say pick up that bus that we found. It may be drivable and we could just plow the bus into it. That's one way of getting in. Another way, sometimes people will find, if you find a tree really close to it, you can cut down the tree and make it collapse onto the wall, which will collapse these walls and give you a good shot at getting in. That can be a little difficult. The closer the tree is to the building, the more likely that is to work. We could craft or find explosives. Certain explosives will destroy the wall, although these are very strong walls. We're never going to be able to smash these. They're too powerful. We can get a pickaxe or jackhammer to jackhammer through the walls. That's my preferred method of getting in. But all of those methods, if you breach the walls, the turret will not be deactivated. So you will have to deal with a turret as you go through. Now, it's dark in here, so if we go in the sides, we could get to the stairs and the turret would never be able to see us. But you kind of want to kill turrets because they give a lot of ammunition. So we're going to go back to base. We found what we were looking for, and we're going to begin the prep work of preparing ourselves to come over here and deal with this lab, because labs are extremely valuable. They have a lot of end game materials, or maybe you would say mid to late game materials, including mutagen, which will allow us to mutate our character, which we definitely want to talk about in this playthrough. They will have a lot of CBM opportunities. There's no guarantee that there will be CBMs there, but there are enemies there that often drop CBMs. There will be a lot of materials for cleaning and installing CBMs, which is very valuable as well. There will be armories filled with guns, which is highly desirable. There will be turrets, which we can use to harvest ammunition. There will be all kinds of stuff in the lab that we really want to get access to. And again, with monster evolutions set up the way that they are, the earlier you go to a lab, the more easily you will get supplies. So if we go on, what is today, day 12 of the game, we're going to run into a lot less resistance than if we go in 6 months. Because if we go in 6 months, there's going to be some real scary stuff that we're going to bump into. There are some robots that can spawn in the labs. I don't think they're subject to evolution, so they can spawn anytime. But they're mostly avoidable. But a lot of the soldier zombies and some of the other stuff will evolve into very scary, very durable, brute-ish enemies. And if you don't have a lot of bullets and you're trying to melee a lot of things, you know, it can be really, really difficult to deal with them. So we're going to head back to base. We're going to see about securing ourselves a pickaxe so that we can take out the wall there. I would also love to put the storage items into our vehicle. Is this a bridge? What is this? What is this? There's an ID card. Oh, this is the prison. We don't want to go here. No, zoom out. My shift key has been busted for a while. Something inside my keyboard. Yeah, we can't go through here. We'll have to go around again. We're going to want to put storage in this vehicle. Replace those with the cargo spaces that we talked about earlier. That way we will be able to loot a huge amount of stuff from the base, the lab, without having to return to our base. I would really, really like to put a bed in here before we go over. That way we have a safe and secure place to sleep at night. There are beds inside. I mean, we don't really care about that child zombie. There are beds inside the lab that you can sleep in as long as you take like a some kind of noise canceling thing to let you sleep through the gunshots. But I really do prefer sleeping in my vehicle. Problem is, installing a bed would require us to install quite a lot of other stuff. We would have to replace these with opaque tiles. We'd have to put curtains and stuff on our windshield. It's a little annoying to do all that. Plus, I would want to extend it to put the bed further back in the vehicle instead of right up front. It doesn't really matter. We don't need the bed. The bed is just my preference. So we'll put some cargo spaces on this. We'll grind our skills until we're able to make a pickaxe. Can we make a pickaxe yet? Can't believe we haven't gotten to the point where we can make a pickaxe. It's a very simple tool, really. Pickaxe. Yeah, it's peculiar to me that hasn't been unlocked. You're telling me that my character can make a swage and die set from scratch but I don't know how to make a pickaxe. It's a wood handle with a pick head on it. It's not it's not rocket science. It's a very low tier tool. What would we need for that? So I pulled up the item browser here for the pickaxe. It's a spear. That's weird. Suitable for breaking up hard things. Craft is the tab we're looking for. It requires Fab 7 and is found in a book that we do not have. So I know people get upset when I complain. Can I just tell you it's really dumb that you can't make a pickaxe? It's not an auto-learned recipe. Everyone on this planet knows what a pickaxe is. It's literally a... Like, it doesn't even need to be a properly manufactured pick head. It can just be a wood stick with a vague pick shape on it, and it would function as a pickaxe. So I'm really disappointed to see that this is not an auto-learned recipe. Engineering 301 or DIY compendium. Engineering 301 or DIY compendium. No, read. Engineering 301 we don't have. DIY compendium we don't have. And you know what? We're never going to be able to make those because we've never seen anything that can be used. Like, we've never seen anything that could be used to harvest books. So that's really obnoxious that that's not an auto-learned recipe. I think that that's a really poor decision. I know I complain about stuff and people get on me all the time for complaining about things in Cataclysm, but there's some stuff like that. Just like pine needle tea, you're boiling pine needles. I don't understand why that requires a book recipe. Book recipes are intended to be recipes that would not be common sense, that you would figure out automatically. But there's a ton of auto-learned stuff that is more puzzling than a jackhammer. So I'm really annoyed to see that that's not something that we can auto-learn. So we have no means of getting in there. Let me look at the jackhammer. What is dumb is that we may be able to craft a jackhammer before we would be able to craft a pickaxe. Jackhammer, electric jackhammer. Craft jackhammer requires mechanical mastery. We don't have any of those. Electric jackhammer. Do we have electronics, advanced electronics or electronics circuit theory? Advanced electronics, electronics circuit theory. No advanced electronics, no electronics circuit theory. So we don't have any books. We have no means of making a pickaxe. Pickaxes are really important for getting in there. There's no tool shops nearby. Hardware stores, I mean. Jeez, where would we get a pickaxe? God, this is infuriating to me that I can't make a pickaxe. I built a forge from scratch, and I forged a swage and die set, an anvil, all these stuff from scratch, but you're telling me I can't make a damn pickaxe. I think that's so stupid. That is infuriating to me. I'm sure that that's for balance reasons, because people were able to very easily craft them to escape the lab start and things like that. But like, I have a fully working forge. I made tongs from scratch and all this stuff that's like, I wouldn't know how to do in real life. But if you asked me to forge a pickaxe, I'm damn sure I could do that. And I have no knowledge. I can make a spear gun, but I can't make a... Okay. So that's not viable. What we might do is try to just ram it with our vehicle. I've never done that. I don't want to do that. We might try that. We'll try felling a tree onto it first. Really, regardless of what we do, we're going to explore, expand our vehicle and try to get some cargo spaces in there. Then we'll reassess and see what we can do. Did I ever turn off the recharger? We really want to do that. It is off. Okay. That's really disappointing. I'm very upset by that. I don't like that at all. Man, there's nowhere we could go for them either. Yeah. And again, our town is not a very good town. There's not much. This military surplus is probably the best thing in the whole town. The gun stores also were pretty valuable, but not really anything we can do about that. Also, if we look at explosives, one, we probably don't have access to a lot of them. And even if we did, a lot of them will require already made explosives. It's not really from scratch. So like dynamite, I believe, is one that can actually destroy the walls, but like the makeshift grenade won't. The grenades we found on that soldier zombie won't. As far as I know, pipe bombs won't. Most of these won't damage the walls. So really not a viable option there. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. We need more books as well, but we haven't found anywhere. We could drive up here to this other town and hopefully just get eyes on a bookstore or something, but that's like a desperation move. I don't want to go all the way up there and end up not finding anything. The prison's not going to have the books we're looking for. I'm disappointed. Anyway, we're going to call the episode. For now, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll be back with more Cataclysm tutorial content in the near future, and I'll see you next time.